everyone, and welcome to Maropost webinar on automations. I'm Miriam, the product marketing specialist, and I'm so glad to have you joining us today. As you may know, a successful email marketing automation strategy can improve engagement along the customer journey and increases revenue and efficiency. Now you're probably asking, how do I build a successful email marketing automation strategy? Luckily today, we're joined by Georgia and Catherine from Customer Success, who will introduce us to automations and explain some best practices.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Maropost webinar on automations. Thank you for joining. My name is Georgia Sibley, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Maropost. You may recognize my voice from my last webinar that I presented on segments. Joining me today is Catherine Nolan, our Manager of Customer Success Onboarding. Together, we'll be leading today's webinar, where we will be teaching the basics of automation, and we'll take a deep dive into 3 common journeys created by our clients. So you will find this webinar helpful if you are new to Maropost Automations, you would like to learn how to set up automations in your own account, or you'd like to see examples of the most common journey automations. Today, we'll be covering a quick walkthrough of how to create an automation, common automation setup by Maropost users, meaning a welcome series, a re-engagement series, and prospect to member journey / educational series. So what is an automation? Maropost allows you to automate your email marketing. You can leverage the journeys to perform various actions, such as updating custom fields, updating list subscriptions, send SMS, send push notifications, and to send emails. All of the above can be based on specific triggers or behavior. Automations with emails or SMS can generate open and click-through rates as they are more relevant and engaging to your contacts. Knowing how to create a journey can be a tricky start. Maropost has a simple journey flowchart view of your automated process, complete with drag and drop controls for triggers, actions, filters, and delays. So let's start with, how do you build an automation? You can create a new journey and manage your existing journeys on the Journeys index page. To access the page in the navigation, go to Automation and then select Journey. You can see this here in the blue box, we've got Automation and then down to Journey. Now we're going to move on to a step-by-step guide to set up a journey. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to click on New Journey. The New Journey dialog box will open. Looks like this. Okay, so on the New Journey dialog box, we need to enter a name for the journey. Optionally, enter a date and time at which you want the journey to be automatically disabled. This field is useful for journeys created for time-specific activity, such as offering a limited time promotion. The enabled checkbox lets you specify whether you want your journey to be live upon saving. The re-trigger journey checkbox, if you want all contacts to re-enter the journey, depending upon the trigger that you use. Please note, for a re-trigger to work, a contact must complete its entire journey. If the contact is still in the middle of a journey and hasn't completed it yet, but you want the contact to restart the journey from the beginning, use the Journeys API to initiate the reset. All right, once complete, click Create. You are directed to the Canvas page where you can use the journey widgets to define your journey. On the left-hand side of the canvas, you will see all of the widget elements. Every trigger has a different function that can be used to design a creative journey that will engage your contacts and automate your email marketing process. you can use the following widgets to create a journey. So we've got them all listed here. I'm not going to read them all out. You can read them. And we're going to send out a copy of this. So if you need to screenshot it, you can. All of these definitions are also found on our support blog. So you can simply click a widget element and it appears on the canvas. Then double click the widget to fill in the details. You can drag the widget anywhere along the dimensions of the canvas. So remember to connect your widgets indicating the journey flow, and the connection of all widgets must terminate with an end widget. Now an end widget is always in red. Now we need to add our elements and click Save. You can then exit back to the index page. From here, if you did not set the journey to be enabled, you can toggle it on. So the actions on the index page provide you with the means to manage your journeys. We've got export, which means exporting the contacts that are part of the journey. The contacts are exported to a CSV file, which can then be downloaded from the notifications panel. We've got enable or disable. So we're enabling or disabling the journey depending on whether you want the journey to be live or not. We've got view contacts, which shows contacts that are part of the journey. A contact within a journey can have one of the following statuses. Active, meaning the contact is still active within the journey. Finished, meaning the contact has flowed through all of the widgets and completed the journey. Paused, meaning the contact's journey has been paused either via a journey API method call or manually from the contact's profile page. We've also got unsubscribed, which means the contact clicked on the journey unsubscribe linked included in a campaign that was sent from the journey. We've also got in this little drop down edit, which will open the edit journey dialog box where you can edit the name and basic settings of the journey. We've also got delete, which you guessed it, deletes. Perfect. And you can only delete journeys which no email has been sent from. So that is important to note. If an email has been sent, it is linked to reports. And we've also got okay, which opens the new journey dialog box where you can create a journey from the existing journey. Great. Now I'm going to pass it over to Catherine for the live demonstration.
Perfect, thanks, Georgia. So I'll now do a live walkthrough in the UI so you can see how I build automations. The first one we'll start with is the most common automation, the welcome series. A welcome email series is a sequence of emails that you automatically send to people as soon as they sign up for your list. The new subscriber is most excited at the moment after opt-in. That makes the welcome series your best chance to introduce yourself, show the benefits of being on your list through a series of onboarding emails. The goal of the welcome series is really to welcome and introduce new subscribers to your brand, restate the benefits of being a subscriber, set expectations, and encourage whitelisting. Really put your best foot forward. As you can see, I am in the customer success account. To get to automations, go to the left navigation bar, click on automations, and then journey. Once on the journey index page, you can click new journey in the top right. You can name your journey. So for this one, as Georgia mentioned, you can set a date and time for this journey to be disabled. You can set this journey to be enabled on save. So I'm going to uncheck that. And you can also set this journey to be retriggerable for your contacts. As this is a welcome series, I probably don't want my contacts to flow through this twice. So I'm going to leave it unchecked. Once you click create, you'll be brought to the canvas. To start, we need to select how contacts will be triggered into the journey. Commonly for a welcome series, we will use the new subscription trigger. You can simply click on the button and the trigger will be added, and you can drag it around in the canvas. Double click on the element and will be able to select which lists are associated with this trigger. So you can select one list or multiple lists, and basically whenever a contact is added to this list, they will be brought into this journey. Now you'll want to add an email element. So scrolling down to the actions, send email. You always want to remember to connect all of your elements. And then once I have it connected, I'll double click on email and I'll fill in the campaign details. So this is very similar to our campaign builder. You can set the campaign name here, the subject of the email, the sending information, which is the pre-header, from name and from email. You would select a pre-made email content from this drop-down. And then there are a few other settings like attaching a campaign tag. You can scroll down and send yourself a test email just to make sure everything looks good. Once you're happy with all of this, click save. We do, if you'd like to send just one welcome email, you can add an end element here and your journey is done. But we do recommend adding multiple emails, creating more of an onboarding series for your new contacts. To do this, I will add a delay. Scrolling down, we have a few delay options, but for this, I will select delay. Double click on the element and set the amount of time. So for this, I think I'll do 2 days in between the emails. And then I will add the next email in the series and define the details. Same as before, I would double click on it. To make journeys easier to follow, you can update the title of each email element to help you stay organized. So I can simply click on the name under the element and name click element. Email 2. This will help you in the future when you want to come in and make edits or just figure out what emails are what. After this email, I want to check to see if contacts made a purchase. So first, I will add a delay to give contacts enough time to engage with the email and make a purchase before I check if they have bought something. So I'm going to add a delay. And again, I would select 1 to 2 days for this. Then I will add a yes/no filter. So filters create sort of branching paths within your journey. So a yes/no filter is based on a segment. So it does require you to pre-make a segment. And if a contact comes into this filter and satisfies the segment conditions, it will go down the yes route. If it doesn't, then it will go down the no route. Multiple selections of segments are not available in the yes/no filter, but if you use the case filter, you can select as many segments as you want, and it could create multiple paths. So you'll see here, if I double click, I would select a pre-made segment in the journey. So for this one in particular, I made a segment that basically looks at if the contact has purchased a product anytime and they're in the master list. Depending on what you define as an active contact, you can add more criteria to this. Remember, if you're new to segments, be sure to watch our segment webinar that is on our website. So back to the journey. So now if the contact has made a purchase, I'm going to end this journey. If the contact has not made a purchase, I'm going to send them another email. So this could be an incentive or a coupon code, just something really hoping to drive them to make a purchase or do a specific action. Once done, I will add an end element, remembering that every path needs to have an end in order for it to be active and live, and then click save. Once you are happy with your journey, you can click exit and you'll be taken back to the index page. So since I didn't select for this journey to be enabled on save, you would have to toggle it on once active, once you're ready for it to be active. But remembering that I didn't fill in all of the email elements, so I won't see the toggle here to actually make that update. So now that we've created the contact's first interaction with your brand, let's look at more of an educational series. So for this specific example, I've created 3 journeys that will walk through a prospect becoming a member and then canceling becoming a member. So I'll go into the first journey first. So we'll see lead journey part 1. Here you will see is an educational series for prospects, very similar to the welcome series. It's a 12 email sequence teaching prospects about a health program. So example, email 1 is our gift to you to start your journey. There's an email that says, finally a diet designed for you. And then at the very end of the series down here, I have the 25% offer for them to become a member. So contacts would flow all the way through this. You might have noticed that there are no yes, no checks to see if contacts have become a member. That's because we're checking for members in a different automation. So I will go over to that automation next. Members. So this journey has a segment event trigger. So daily at 5 a.m., it will pull in new members to this journey. If you want the membership journey to be more real time, and you're using one of Maripost's native integrations, a shopping cart, or a product and revenue API, you can use the product purchase trigger, and this will bring in contacts as soon as a purchase is made. For this example, we are using an API call to update a custom field, and we have a segment that checks that on a daily basis. So once they're in the journey, the second element here is an end journey element. So clicking on this, I have selected the leads journey. So as soon as they have become a member, we're going to stop them in the leads journey because we don't want them to continue the prospect sequence. So how this works is if they become a member after email 1, they will stop in the prospect journey after email 1. If they become a member after email 6, they will stop after email 6 and be brought into this sequence. So this journey for members is more about their new membership. So questions about your program, better ways to manage your plan. And at the very end, we've thrown in sort of a pitch to become a VIP member as well. If somebody is in this membership journey and cancels their plan, I have created another email sequence for that, but you can also use an API called stop contacts in this journey. But following the use case of updating a custom field with the status for membership, I have created a journey called program canceled. So this is very similar. We are looking for could be a tag event, but let's update that to be a segment event. We would have a segment event looking to see if contacts are no longer a member or have canceled. I'm going to check to see what their status is. If they have canceled, I'm going to end their membership journey. Same as the other one, it's an end journey element, and then end. If their status is still subscribed, we'll leave it and they'll just end here. So this is a basic example of how to manage a journey of prospects to members in Maropost. The last type of journey we will walk through is re-engagement. The re-engagement is sending to inactive users can hurt your domain reputation and negatively affect your deliverability and inbox placement. It is best practice to remove all inactive contacts that are being marketed to from your list. As a general guideline, contacts that have not shown engagement for more than 6 months should be cleansed. Before moving them from your list, you want to try to retarget and re-engage them just to make sure you're not moving them too quickly. Starting a re-engagement campaign might seem like a big project, but it can be broken down into 6 simple steps. 1, identify the target audience. 2, create a segment of inactives. 3, create an email series. 4, automate the process. 5, test campaigns. And finally, 6, review campaign success and make adjustments. So now we'll walk through 2 re-engagement journeys. So on the screen, we have a journey which can be used for new clients. Remembering that if you are warming an IP or doing a domain warm-up, you should never be emailing your inactive contacts. But once you're done, maybe your IP warm-up, you can set up a journey to run in the back end of your account, targeting inactive contacts as soon as they match the segment criteria. So I have a segment event trigger at the start, and here I have created a segment where we're looking for contacts that have not opened an email in 90 days. They've received more than 15 emails, and they're not in a 90-day new subscriber segment. You can add more criteria to this as well, like did not purchase in the past 7 days, but this is sort of a standard basic segment for this use case. Next, we will have a series of emails where we're looking to retarget your contacts. So after each email, you'll see a delay. So we're gonna let them sit for a couple days, check to see if they have engaged and become active. So for these yes, no segment checks, I'm actually using the same, I will actually use the same segment that I used in the trigger, because if they are still inactive and matching the criteria that pulled them in, then we're gonna still keep trying to retarget them. If they are no longer falling into the inactive segment, we can add a tag saying that they've been reactivated and end the journey. So we'll do this for a couple emails in the sequence. Best practice is to have around 3 to 4 emails. Remember, things to keep in mind when working on your re-engagement emails is you should personalize these emails. Personalization leads to an increase in click-through rate. You want to remind contacts why they signed up in the first place. Often you want to offer them something like a discount or a special deal. Now, it doesn't always have to be a discount or a gift, but each email should provide value. It may be as simple as asking a contact to update their preferences and tell you what type of emails they would like to receive. Also very important is to include a good and visible unsubscribe option at the top of the emails. As the audience might not have opened an email in the past 90 days, there's a high risk that contacts will opt out of the mail. The unsubscribe link should be prominent and at the top of the email, just to ensure that contacts are not clicking the ISP's unsubscribe and they're clicking the Maropost unsubscribe to ensure that your domain reputation is not hurt. When you come down to the end of the journey, so the very last check for engagement, we want to add a longer delay. So you can see here that I've set my final delay to be 10 days. Because at 10 days, I'm going to check to see if they've opened any of these emails. If no, if no, they're still inactive, we are just going to add that backwards. If they are now active, we're just going to end the journey, same as before, saying that they're retargeted. But if they are not active, then we will want to unsubscribe them from the list. So that's why we're giving the 10-day delay, just to ensure that we're not unsubscribing them too quickly. We want to give them time to engage. But if they haven't engaged in 90 days and to none of these emails, which would be your best of content, you might as well unsubscribe them and stop mailing them. Remember that each path does need to have an end element, but this is sort of your basic flow for a new client setting up a re-engagement series. For clients who've been sending with Maropost for a longer period or have a larger database and have a larger pool of inactive contacts, you don't want to use a setup like this because when you first turn on the journey, you'll pull in too many contacts at once. You want to remember that when mailing inactives, you typically only want to send to 10% of your normal daily sending volume of inactive contacts. For example, if you're sending to 100K emails a day, you would only want to mail roughly 10,000 inactives a day. So with that in mind, I'm going to move over just to my next journey, which is re-engagement for large batch. So with that use case, I have 100,000 emails that I mail a day, and I only want to send to 10,000 of those contacts a day. So say I have 40,000 inactives, I would only want to bring in 10,000 contacts a day. So what I've done here is added in a percent split, which I've just selected 25, but there's a few other options as well. So you can have multiple branches in this email. Then I will add a delay after each one. So this one's a 5-minute delay. So on day 1, 10,000 contacts are going to come into the re-engagement series. 2 days afterwards, we're going to bring in the next 10,000 contacts because they've been sitting here. At the 4-day mark, the 10,000 contacts that were sitting at this delay will be brought in, and same for the 6-day mark. So I put a 2-day delay in between each. Now, it's really important to always speak to your deliverability manager before targeting inactives. This is important because inactive users typically have a lower engagement and are at higher risk for hurting your domain reputation. But if it's done correctly, it can yield great conversions. So to ensure that you are not mailing too many inactives, always check with your manager and they can help guide you on how many delays you want based off of the number of inactives. After your workflow has been active for a few weeks, you want to make sure that you're always reviewing the campaigns within it and checking the conversion rates. For example, in that prospect journey we walked through before, we want to see at what email do people typically become a member. If it's taking like multiple emails, maybe you want to update some of the first contents to show better value. In this re-engagement journey, I'm really looking to see the number of people that are brought into this journey and how many people are converted back to an active member by the end of it. Typically for re-engagement, we see about 5 to 10% reactivation, but anything over 10% is amazing. But it seems low, but it's still a great way to like re-bring contacts back in before you clean them from your list. I highly recommend be constantly looking at the open and click-through rates of these emails to see what customers are engaging with and find out what's not working. If the information tells you you need to change, then change your strategy to make sure that it's always working and up to date. A good journey program is constantly being reviewed and updated based on the data. Those were some of our most popular use cases. We have a couple minutes left, so I think we have a few questions that we can go over.
Perfect. So we've got a few questions in the chat. We've got time to probably answer 3 of them, and the rest will email the answers after the webinar. So the first one we've got here is how to suppress people in a journey from normal marketing emails.
That's a good question. So best practice is to suppress anyone who's active in a journey, especially a welcome series or re-engagement from your normal sends. So the best way to do this is through the campaign scheduler itself. On step 2, you can suppress active journeys. There you go. Oh, I'm wrong on step 3. Nope, step 2. Here you go. So you'll see on step 2 that you can select suppress journeys. So I could select all or just if I want to make sure anyone active in the welcome series or re-engagement aren't getting my marketing emails, I'll select those here.
Fantastic. Another question that's popped up here is how to know where a person is in a journey.
Yeah. So when in a journey, there's sort of one place when you're in the builder itself, and unfortunately I don't have any active ones in this account, but when this journey is live and active, you'll see that there's a search contacts box in the top right. So if you type in an email address, it will highlight in the journey where they currently are by putting a red box around the element they're sitting at. Alternatively, you could always search for the contact on the dashboard in the search contacts box. You'll be taken to their contact record where you can see their journey status and what emails they have received.
Perfect. And our third and final one for today is how do I see the report for each journey?
Yeah. So 2 places to see the report, and what I find to be the easiest one is in the journey itself. Let me find one. Go. In the journey itself, if you click on the send email element, once this email has been active and the journey saved and it's live, a new button will appear in the bottom right that will take you to a campaign report where you can view just the basic campaign report for this journey email. Now, you'd have to do that for every single individual email. So another place you can find it is within the analytics dropdown. Journey reports. Here you will see a list of all the journeys in your account. Click the drop down. Of course, none of these are live, but you can then see all the emails listed and click on that to be taken to the campaign report. And third option is if you would like, you can always create a custom report that selects all the journey emails, and that could be a one-time custom report just to see quick results, or you could set up a recurring report to be emailed to you directly with all the journeys selected to see the metrics. So those are probably the main 3 ways to see your journey metrics.
Fantastic. And if there are any more questions, we will respond to you via email after this. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining today. Hopefully you found this helpful and learned something new. This webinar will soon be available on our website for you to refer back to at any time. If you have a customer success manager, please do get in touch with them to set up any additional education on automations that your team may require. We are always happy to set up training sessions so everyone on your team can use Maropost automation tools to their maximum potential. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.